Why we wanted to do that? Also thinking in Lean, we see that kitchens nowadays are far from the tables, from the customers, but bigger the restaurant, bigger the kitchen, bigger the stocks, and bigger the difference and the distance from the tables and customers. And we said, just as a proposition, what about to create cells, okay? So like industry, break the restaurant in small cells, just as an hypothesis. So what we wanted is to design this cell. This cell can be done as a bigger restaurant, but also as a different cells. Of course, these cells have to contain everything. The red zone, let's say the hot zone, the cold zone, the neutral zone. But not only this, also we wanted to have all the stock there. That means we don't want to have warehouses, we don't want to have chillers or freezers, but all the chillers and freezers in the working zone. That means probably with the different drawers or these kind of things. Well, we have to start with lean and we have to start with the value. This is the first principle, right, Elsa?
Yes, so Oriol has explained what we were going to do, what we wanted to do, and then what we needed to know was who our customers would be and what they considered to be a added value. So we did a series of exercises. One of them was the one you see on the bottom corner, which is the value proposition canvas. And this is really interesting because it allows you to see both what the customer will value the most that you can give to them, and also the customer jobs. So with the customer jobs, what we did was the Lean customer stream map. And this is very interesting because it allows you to see how the customer will feel through each one of the steps of the process. And also it allows you to see which are the critical points, which will be the ones we will going to be working on to boost their experience. Okay, so then we knew that we knew who our customers would be, and we knew what they considered added value. So then, knowing that the second and third principles of Lean are identifying and creating flow, what we did was the value stream map, which showed us exactly how our experiment would run.
Well, now we know how this experiment have to be. And so we start working. 365 coffee shops in Barcelona help us, delivering to us, giving us a gift during some months, a couple of months at least, one of their new shops. So one of these shops that has a very specific location that was very good for as an hypothesis for our experiment, they say, okay, do you want to use that as during these 2 months as a restaurant? We say yes, of course. In fact, it was a former restaurant. But this restaurant was a very traditional style. That means very big kitchen that it's not as much as useful as we think. So what we did is we cut it. You can see here on the videos, we cut it the kitchen. We just keep 1/3, and with 1/3, we thought that it was enough, and really it was enough. So what we did is, after some works, not too much investment, because of course it is an experiment, and we move it, you see on the left, from this state to this state. Here you can see on the video the day that we unveiled our experiment, that of course the restaurant name was called Experiment, because this is what we were having. Of course, a lot of curiosity among the people, a restaurant called Experiment, and we announced it. It's a pop-up. We're going to close on 28 February. We start on 1st January and we're going to close on 28 February. People didn't understand why we do that. Well, it was a lot of good stories that it will come in a book soon. Well, just to have a look, this is the restaurant here at the very beginning. This is the entrance. We are like in a customer perspective. Here we have what we call the island for the beverage. Okay, we keep much of the restaurant. We just put a pen, so all the seats are from the former restaurant except the Kaizen zone. And this is how the kitchen after cutting it looks like. Okay, with the hot zone, with the cold zone, the neutral. Also, all the washing is here because we didn't use chemicals. thanks to EcoFrog that help us to give ozone washing machines. That means that we don't use chemicals and we can keep very, very close all these areas. And this helps on the layout, on the spaghettis, and on everything. Well, now we are ready to make our experiment. We want to do a lean kitchen. A lean kitchen where everything is just in time. That means with almost no previous work preparation, with the minimum equipment needed. But also, even if we do everything just in time, we want to have the minimum lead time to the customer. So as quick as possible. And of course, with no food waste. Question, is this going to work? And what is the limit? But well, to do a lean kitchen, we need customers. That means that we have to do a second experiment. We have to do a lean restaurant.
Exactly. So as Oriol said, we needed to test if it would work, and for that we needed people. So our restaurant had no culinary purpose, and we know that this doesn't make much sense to as a commercial point of view. But well, most of our customers asked that, and we were changing all the time the menu. But that was because we wanted to focus on the processes, not on the style, but we wanted to have the freedom to do whatever we wanted to test everything. Also, big surprise, we were working with small parties because the kitchen was working with small batches. So, and that is very lean, and we wanted to keep the flow and not break it if possible. We had a la carte, we had the menu formula, and we were combining that between the lunch, the evening dinner, and we were all the time, all the opening hours, serving food and beverage. And that worked. Like we had on lunch and dinner time, we were operating as a restaurant, and the rest of the opening hours, we were operating as a cafe. So what we wanted to test was how to attract the guests. We wanted to know if lean really is a customer benefit, a benefit for the customer, or lean only is a benefit for the people who work there.
Very good experiment, very good experiment. Well, we start with the first one, with the lean kitchen, and we have some hypotheses. We want to do an experiment. Just in time really increase the quality and freshness. So if we cook everything just in time, if we cut everything just in time, if we have everything just in time, it increases the quality and freshness, but also it's going to decrease the wasted food, because if we cook everything just in time, we're not going to waste food. Are we going to decrease time? Because of course, if as the typical mise en place, I cut the tomatoes during the morning, I prepare everything. For example, I cut the tomatoes, I have to put it in a container, I have to close the container, I have to label the container with some traceability, I have to put this container in the chiller, and later when I need that, I have to take this container, open that, and use the tomatoes. Probably this is more time than just cut the tomatoes and put the tomatoes when it's needed. And of course, this decreases the space. Is really this going to happen? Well, here we make some maths. We have seen we have 26 seats, we have a number of customers. More or less, we calculated 45 minutes of eating experience, 2.5 guests per table after this value creation that Elsa have been explaining, 1.5 plates per guest. That means that we have a takt time of 2 minutes per dish. If we're able to deliver every 2 minutes one finished dish, then our capacity is okay. We're not going to have delays. Well, we set as a working time less than 90 seconds because variability occurs, problems occurs. What does it mean working time? For example, an entrecôte. To put entrecôte in the grill is 15 seconds. I open the chiller drawer and I put it there. That is just 30 centimeters away. 15 seconds. Then it's automatically cooked, okay, in my grill. After some time, I have to change side and probably put some potatoes as a side. Then it's continue cooking. At the end, I have to remove the entrecôte, design a ladle, and later put it on the dish, some decoration with the potatoes, some sauce, whatever. Total 72 seconds. So if the working time, not the lead time, if the working time is less than 90 seconds, we're able to do that. We did that with entrecôte, with the salads, with the pizzas, with the fish, with the pasta. We did with all the different dishes that we have, and surprise, all of them is under 90 seconds. And if they are not in 90 seconds, we make some kaizens in order to have that. So what happens with this? Okay, here we can see Elsa making everything was measured. Well, results, quality. We make a survey on every table. That means that we have over 600 surveys. We make a survey on all the customers, all the tables. And average is 4.5, 4.6 on quality and quantity. I think that this is amazing for someone that doesn't know how to run a restaurant, Elsa. Congratulations. We did it, I think, quite well. But also, what happens with the speed? Because if we do that everything just in time, this is the perception of the speed. 4.6 over 5. I think it's a very quite good rate. But the best is if you can see, even it doesn't matter how much people was sitting in the restaurant, even 50 something people sitting in the restaurant. Don't ask how we managed to do that. But the perception, except one day that we have an accident and we want to keep the data, even if we have an accident, we have the same perception of speed. That means that the system works. We're very, very, very happy with that. Second hypothesis.
Okay, so we wanted to test if having an open kitchen and doing 5 S's would actually reduce non-added value. So what we saw was that if you could see what was going on in the kitchen, the cooks obviously were going to have the kitchen cleaner and more organized. And if they were having the kitchen more clean and organized, there would be far less waste. So if we didn't get the kitchen so dirty, the cleaning time would be much reduced. But we had the same problem that every kitchen in the world has, which is that we spent far too much time cleaning it and it was too tiresome. Everyone wanted to go home. So we were very lucky because we counted on a lot of cleaners who came to the restaurant to help us. And one of them was Alba and Uri, who were really key to our experiment because we asked them our help. Thank you very much from here. Because we said, okay, we need help with the cleaning standards. And they came time and time again. They came to the Gemba, they started observing everything that was going on. They started writing everything down, doing precedence diagrams, doing kaitens, and thanks to that, we were able to go from the 1 hour and 40 cleaning time to 35 minutes. Well, depending on the cook, you will hear that we only spend 25 minutes, but that is totally debatable. If you follow
35 is the official. 35 is the official.
The efficient time is 35 minutes. And how did we do that? So small steps. What we did, for example, we put some paper between the grill and the food. One of our cooks had an amazing idea, an amazing kaiten, which is the one you're seeing on the screen, that was instead of cleaning with small ice cubes, cleaning it with a big block of ice, and that reduced the time from 40 minutes to 3 minutes on the grill. That was amazing. And yes, what we saw in the experiment was that it is true that when you have a problem, you should do a kaiten, because we've seen that small changes that work better, make the things work better, add up to really big impacts.
Okay. And well, we have a third hypothesis we have been talking about. So these solutions, it worked for us. It doesn't mean that it worked for you, the ice or the paper, whatever. There is a lot of controversy about that. I'm not going to talk, I'm going to not to discuss that. But 1 hour 40, it's something quite common in the industry. But making kaizens, as Alba and Uri did, reduces time. Okay. What is your problem? Focus on that. Problem solving. Lean helps on that. Well, we have been talking about the kitchen, but also we have another part that is the restaurant. What happens in the restaurant? Here we have some hypotheses. Okay, what is the work of a waiter? The work of a waiter is to take orders, to serve, to collect. and to attend to the people. Really, all of them are value added. Elsa, all of them are value added.
Well, what we saw is that we actually didn't need a waiter, and that is because, well, if the ordering is going to be made by the customer. Why? Because no one knows better than the customer what they want. The serving part, the bringing the dish to the table, will be conducted by the cook, because no one knows better how to present the food and explain it than the cook. And also it will make the customers feel really well served. And no one will collect better the dishes than the cook instead of the waiter, because it's a way of collecting feedback and also and especially collecting compliments. And also it makes you feel important if you're eating and the same cook that cooked your food comes and asks you how your food was and talks a little bit with you. So what's left? Only attending, but only. So in a restaurant, we did something that was very interesting. There was a meal run, and it's also quite simple. It's only the bartender, in our case, going back and forth.
Don't unveil that. This will come. This will come. This will come. So the problem is that, of course, while we're ordering, serving, and collecting, also we are attending. How we can manage that? First is order. Okay, how to order? First, we make 4 experiments because the best one that knows how to order is the customer. Let's try if the customer can do it for themselves. So first, we started with a Kanban board. We want to do during 2 weeks this experiment, and a Junka board during 2 weeks do this experiment. The traditional order with the waiter to do that with 2 weeks this experiment, and then with electronic with the tablet, okay, and 2 weeks this experiment to see the difference between all of them. Finally, we did only the first 2 experiments. Why? Because it worked so well that we want to go more deep on that. So how it work in this case, because it's an experiment, so we want to have everything very flexible. Here, one customer, a friend of us, actually Bart, is looking what they want, and once he chooses, he just have to stick the code in a paper, and then put this paper in our Junka. So it's the customer who is pulling from the kitchen. Okay, here it goes to Junka. This our solution have to be flexible, it's just 2 months. And here in these minutes, you can see how much the kitchen will take to deliver to the table. So you at every moment knows how is the kitchen queue, what's happening, okay? And if you take a look, you can see how close you are to the final. And of course, if you wish, you can talk with the supplier that is the cook. Well, so when the order arrives, now here we can see Edgar. Edgar take a look, and in a specific way that this Junka works. Later, it will be part of another seminar, how inside the kitchen everything is calculated and is doing. We start preparing the food. As you can see, we have the chillers, we have the frozen just under here. This is enough. We have a Kanban system to resupply and reorder everything, and we start cooking. Okay, this is how our Junka looks like. I'm not going to go inside. Just some tips. Well, in the menu, if you take a zoom, we have 4 pizzas, PDCA. This is the name of the 4 pizzas. We have our entrecote that it's called Jidoka, because never fails. We have our, of course, of our spaghetti chart. Okay, we have a lot of jokes inside of the menu. You have to look that. It's a lot of Easter eggs for Lynn. And then, as Elsa was saying, if the order is done by the customer, if serving is done by the cook, if collecting is done by the cook, and this is very important because everybody says cooks don't want to go to take the dirty dishes. No, 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 no. Cooks goes to the table to collect the complaints and the good words from the customers after eating that. So, and everybody wants that, to go to the table and say, thank you very much. Yes, we love the food that you prepared. and by the way, collect the dirty dishes. But so the focus is the value. It's not the process, as Lalis always said. But then we have this attending, and then Lalis, Elsa, now you can explain.
I was so excited to explain it. Well, what our hypothesis was, what's the added value in having a waiter? No, we didn't have a waiter. We had a bartender. But what we discovered was that the added value is surely attending to the customer and making them feel seen and important. So how we did that was with this milk run that the one you're seeing in the picture was made by Alba. And it was really simple, actually. It was only the bartender setting a timer and each every 10 minutes going around the table and only making eye contact with the customers and making sure that they had everything they needed. So that made the customers feel really good attended, because they knew that every sometime someone would come to check if everything was okay, and that they were not forgotten, because if they needed something, they could ask for it and be given it straight away. So the results we had with this were in the next slide, that a lot of our customers were really happy. As you can see, an average of 4.5 over 5. We did a survey on each one of our customers, and no matter if they didn't like the food, no matter if they didn't like getting up to put the paper on the kitchen to order themselves, no matter anything, they felt that they were really good attended. And that, especially to the elder people, was really surprising, because they said, okay, you didn't have no waiters, and I didn't like that you didn't have a waiter, but I felt really good attended. So thank you. And that was very surprising, actually.
It was very good because at very beginning, a lot of people come to the restaurant and say, you will fail. You will fail. A restaurant, it's to be attended. So this is not, this is a McDonald's. Say, no, 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 it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant. And they say, you will fail. And probably they didn't understand fully. When you make a meal run, you get sure that you touch all the tables, also the corner tables. How do you feel in a corner table usually? And to be attended is to be with the people, not going there and ask, what do you wish to order? What do you wish to order? Do you know what to order? Do you know? Please tell me now. So sometimes we're pushing the customers, and probably feeling in a restaurant is something different. To have the cook to serve the food, this is impressive. To receive the compliments from them, it's very, very good. So the experience maybe is different. And maybe making a customer experience map, as Lalis have said, probably this is important. Well, this is the global results. We make the question, okay, are you going to recommend us 4.5 on 5? Also with the first days that was very difficult to work, but here is all the results in raw. And you can see that even the days that we have very, very packed, we have very good reviews. And if we isolate the data from January to February and all the restaurants in the city, 150,000 inhabitants, we were one of the very, very, very top restaurants in the city during these 2 months. Impressive, incredible. We're very, 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 very happy. And people began to put notes, to put congratulations, not only in reviews, because a lot of people didn't like to put reviews, but they put it. The people have to know that you're doing something very, very different and very, very exciting. And we were very, very happy to that. Okay, numbers. We have an increasing number of customers. Really at the last 2 weeks, we almost only work on booking. So we cannot have in walking seats, because everything people began to say, began to know these things. We earn money. So operating point of view was profit, a small profit. It was part. We want to be real. We want to have good prices. We have to have profit, to pay everybody what we have to pay. Here we have the help of 365 for investment, Campos Estela with the cookers. We have Dream Place and Portaventura helping us with all the food, all the mock-ups, and all these things. We appeared on the media. We went several times to television. television comes to us to see how things are going. We went to the radio. We appeared on the media. This was a column on one of the main newspapers in Catalonia on the back cover. So really, it was an amazing story. And Elsa, we enjoy it a lot. And our expectation is now you can repeat that everywhere in the world, and not fully, but some of the things that we have been learning, I think that is very, 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 very good for everybody.
Mhm.
Well, so probably there is a lot of questions, and we are very open. So you have our LinkedIn address. We have our local institutes to touch, because we shared that with all the institutes all around the world, and we are going to see in different summits making these talks. Chris, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Mm.